Public forum. This is a chance for our constituents to please discuss anything that was on the agenda tonight or any other issue that you have. The floor is yours.
I'd like to make a statement if I could.
Okay.
This statement is in regards to the July council meeting and the council's decision regarding the alleged fire ordinance violation against the Prudence residents, the fire department, and Councilman Potoff. I am reading this as a member of the fire department and in defense of the parties accused of the alleged violation, which includes myself. Training is a necessary function to ensure our members are well-equipped, knowledgeable, and able to respond in any emergency situation at any given moment. Depending on the time of day, you may have 15 people show up at an emergency, or you may have 2. So making sure each volunteer knows what they are doing is imperative. Councilman Potoff took on the role as training officer about 8 months ago and implemented actual training exercises which were very much needed and crucial to the fire department. Only those needing the training needed to attend. Live non-emergency fire scenario opportunities do not come up routinely. Whenever one does, just to make sure he can take that opportunity to train members that need a refresher on the technology, the equipment, and the skills. That means he takes the trucks where the training opportunities arise. He did just that on the evening of July 4th, 2010 at the Prudence home. The city dump site was closed for council vote some months ago following the ice storm, and I don't believe the citizens as a whole were notified that it was reopened. At least I was unaware. Justin was contacted by the Prudences that they had a brush pile out in their pasture area due to the closure and needed to be burned, and asked if he would be able to help them and use it as a fire training opportunity. Mr. Potoff was aware my husband, Rick Sabota, works second shift and is not able to attend fire department meetings on a regular basis to get the needed updates and training offered there. Our chief was notified and they proceeded with the fire training. Our pumper is tricky to run, and not everyone prior to Mr. Potoff taking on the role of training officer knew how to efficiently run and prime the pump to allow the water to engage. It takes practice. Mayor Beidler claims that some of you are not upset training was conducted, but rather about where the training was held. So if I understand the issues correctly, the city council is upset the ordinance was allegedly violated because the burn occurred inside city limits. The city council was not notified, nor was it approved by them, and the DNR was not notified. I'd like to clarify some things. The training was conducted within city limits, however. Under section 615.9, one of the exceptions is in subsection 1 where, quote, training fires may be conducted by volunteer fire departments in the course of training members in firefighting techniques, end quote. It does not state the city council must be notified or that it must be approved by anyone prior to the training exercise. It does not state those training exercises are prohibited to be conducted inside city limits, otherwise there would be no need for an exception allowing it under the ordinance. You cannot have an ordinance and expect people to assume you mean it one way when it is written another. Issues like this then arise, causing unnecessary legal fees and frustration on the part of many. After Mayor Beidler attended the July fire meeting, we now have a mutual understanding that we will notify Mayor Beidler prior to any training exercise. I think this whole matter can be chalked up to a poorly written exception to an ordinance and a lack of communication between two entities rather than a willful disregard of the ordinance by anyone. Secondly, the DNR did not need to be notified of this training exercise. I contacted Mona at the Department of Natural Resources in Des Moines regarding the situation. The only time the DNR needs to be notified prior to a training exercise is if it is to be held near a wildlife refuge, wildlife preserve, state park, or involves a structure. None of those conditions were met, and she stated she would not have needed to be contacted. I feel the entire situation is being blown out of proportion, and it is being made an example of because of who is involved. At last month's council meeting, Mayor Beidler stated she had personally gone out to other fires and put them out with no infraction, written warning or otherwise being given to those citizens. The same courtesy was not extended here. Our assistant fire chief has reiterated that the fire department will certainly extinguish any and all fires deemed in violation of the ordinance. We will contact Mayor Beidler, or she will contact us to extinguish, and I would undoubtedly imagine those names would be forwarded onto the city council to be put on the agenda for an infraction or written warning to be on file. I believe the ordinance was written and interpreted honestly and without malice. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes.
May I get a copy of your notes there, please?
Certainly.
We'd like a copy as well for our records.
Certainly.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, the next public forum is closed.